It's been exactly 6 weeks since I put my Kentucky bluegrass seed down, and it started to germinate after about a month because the temperatures have been so cold and bluegrass is just slow to begin with. But it's been about 2 weeks since complete germination. I think now is the perfect time to be putting down my first dose of fertilizer. You can see I've got a lot of inconsistent color yet in some of the older types of grass that haven't really blended well, so that's because I'm lacking iron. I'm going to be showing you the fertilizer product I'm going to be applying for the first time this season. And that's going to be the Anderson's PGF Balanced Fertilizer. This is a 1010 product, so it's got these numbers right here. If you don't know what that means, this is the analysis. It's 10% nitrogen, 10% phosphate, 10% potash. That's just a nice balanced fertilizer, but a nice unique thing about the Andersons is that they also have a lot of micronutrients in here, which if you remember my soil sample from a few weeks ago, check out that video. I was lacking in a lot of these micros. We've got sulfur, copper, iron, manganese, and zinc. This product contains all of that. It's a very high quality premium fertilizer. So this isn't like your generic off-the-shelf fertilizer you get at the big box store. It's got a lot more to it, and you only need an 18-pound bag to cover 5,000 square feet. 3.6 pounds is what we're going to be applying it at. I'm going to be doing a full bag rate app, and that's going to cover my entire front lawn with only 18 pounds. Normally you have to get a 40 or 50 pound bag of fertilizer to get the same coverage, but not with this. The Anderson's is very densely packed with the nutrients. A little goes a long way, and the granules are very small, so this bag on the inside here, we'll open it up in a bit and you'll see how fine the particles are inside. It's good for low-cut lawns like what I've got here. So I think this is going to be a great product. We're going to be testing this out this year. I've got a couple other products from the Andersons, and they're just really a premium brand. So I think we're going to be having some good results with that. But we'll see. We're going to apply this, and we'll have to come back to the lawn in a couple weeks and see what the results are. So I'm going to go ahead and get my spreader down. We're going to get that going. But I just wanted to show you the progress that we've got with the lawn since seeding. Things are looking pretty good. It's still a little bit patchy, but I have been watering at about 2 times per day now. I cut it back from 4 times a day once I saw germination was completed. So we want to keep that seed nice and moist for the first few weeks after you put the seed down until it fully germinates. Otherwise, it's not going to have complete germination, and it's going to take a lot longer, and a lot of weeds are going to pop up in its place. But you can see I definitely I'm lacking in a lot of color right now. But I did want to show you just how slow Kentucky bluegrass comes in. 6 weeks after applying it, and this is where we're at. I think that's probably about like under a ½ inch for sure. That is our little baby grass right there, just popping up. It's coming in real thick right along the fence here where it was all killed off, so you can actually see it pretty good over here because this was dead. So we want to push the growth as much as we can with that stuff and really get it to start competing with the mature grass. Now, you guys have seen some of my previous videos where I've shown you how to calibrate your spreader and mark out 1,000 square feet in your lawn and set the spreader low to make sure you're not over applying or anything like that. I'll put a link in the description so you guys can take a look at that if you have more questions about using a spreader. But for now, I'm just going to go off the bag. It says for the Scott spreaders you want to put it at 3 1/4. I know this spreader because I've used it a lot. I'm going to set it a little bit low. I'm going to set it to 3. And if we are too light, we can always bump it up to like 3 1/2 maybe if we need to. So my recommendations, if you're applying a new product you've never used before, start low and work your way up. If you over apply, it's not such a huge deal because this isn't like super high ammonia nitrogen or anything like that, so you're not going to burn the lawn, but just a precaution, just so that way you're getting the most out of the product and not dumping it all in one place. So we're going to start there. I'm just going to put the whole bag in because we're going to use the whole thing. Wow, and this is very fine particle size. I'm talking like sand here, almost. It's like really rough grit sand almost. Look at that. It's not clumpy or anything. It's pouring very nice and smooth. And the whole 18-pound bag is going to fit in my little Scott's Mini. With room to spare. I mean, just look at the size of those granules. That's why you have to apply it low, because the opening is much smaller. It's going to broadcast this really far. Larger particles, typically you have to open it up a little bit more just because you need a bigger opening. Well, would you look at that? A 3 was just about right. Just about 5,000 square feet. That bag with the calibration settings printed on the back are just about dead on. So that's good. That's why I always say start a little bit low and work your way up. I purposely went a quarter notch lower just to ensure I had good coverage, but I also overlapped a little bit more than I normally would because the granulars were so small. It was very hard to see exactly where they were flying, so I don't think it was spreading quite as far as larger, heavier granules would travel because it's so small and light. So maybe that's why I was overlapping more as well. So keep that in mind when you're spreading a product like this with really tiny granule size like that, because your overlap is going to be less than what you are used to with the larger size. But with that, guys, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment below if you got any questions. I always love reading all your questions. I try to get to every one of them, and I can. I'm going to come back to this in about a week, and we're going to look at the progress just to see what the results are. 4 days only, and I think the color's improved. It's a lot less patchy, you can see from this angle. This area I've had a particularly hard time with things coming in thick. I've had a lot of weeds and especially quackgrass back here, but it's honestly looking pretty good. It's only been a few days since I put down that fertilizer, but it is time to mow again. It is been kept at a ½ inch, but look at that. Probably got another inch of growth on top I gotta take off in some areas. So yeah, it's definitely pushing growth. Time to mow it down and help that lateral spread a little bit. So just my initial observations, that seems like a pretty good effective fertilizer, and it's working pretty fast so far. If you guys got any questions or comments, leave them below. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Really appreciate it, guys. Until next time, thanks for watching. This is why we have a well-manicured lawn. Dang, that looks good. Freshly mowed.